Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry it's been such a long moment since we've had a video. I've been very busy with things. Anyway, I bought another boat anchor and we're going to try to make it run so that I can put it in Rita and put Rita back on the road. Well, as I said, it's been quite a minute. I've been busy with customer stuff and personal stuff, trying to, get other people's cars done and also keep mine on the road. The only running driving vehicle I have at the moment is the single cab. And, growing pains, man. It's back on the road and there's going to be things that need to be fixed. There are still things that need to be fixed, but I've done about 1,500 miles so far. Really without a ton of issues, so that's nice. She does look a little bit different than the last video. I got quite a lot of the yellow off. I kept the flames, and the flames are going to stay. I got some brown off the dashboard, which was nice. I unfortunately, yesterday, hit one of the lanches because I turned a little bit too soon. I swapped the bumpers. Well, I swapped the front bumper. I painted this one. But also, this happened. So that's neat. Really happy with that. The same guy that did Clementine came and did that for me. And he did a fantastic job, as he always does. So it was nice meeting everybody that I got to meet in person finally at Terryville this past weekend. That was a lot of fun. Gloria actually won an award, the Most Patina Award. I don't feel like I have really deserved that award, considering I'm the one that chipped all the paint off of that bus, and I painted it the same weekend of the show, or the same week of the show. So thanks anyway, but I don't think I deserved it. There were some much nicer patina buses there than mine. I also, obviously, the only reason I go to most shows is for the swap meet. I bought this little 1500 single port that we're going to try to get running today so that I can put it in Rita. That car's been off the road long enough, and I miss having a bug to drive around, and I figured a motor is better than no motor. So let's dig in, shall we? All right, so we have a little H5 here, which should be, I know it's a 1500, this should be like 68 or 9. It's not really worth running the numbers because who cares? Everything seems to be free. It spins a little bit. The first thing I got to do is put a flywheel on it and check the endplay and that rear main bearing and make sure we're going to go much further than that, and then we can kind of look at everything else. Some interesting things that I noticed about this engine is that we've got a Norris Cams degree wheel here. I'm sure that they were just using this for timing and whatever. It's not actually indicative of this thing having a cam, but I'm going to believe that someone put a cam in this. Also noticed that there's this little sensor here that I think someone was using as a head temp sender, so that's neat. Maybe it is a spicy motor, who knows. So there's a few things we got to do. Probably get this little washer out of here. A few things we got to do, but first things first is checking that rear main bearing, which we're going to end up doing on the floor as always. And then I think I'm going to take that 40 off the stand and hoist this thing up there so that we can get some better access to it. So let me pop this guy out, start cleaning everything up, and we'll take a look at that bearing. All right, I got the seal off, shims out, and we're in business. Let's see if I can show this without moving the camera too much, but the bearing's not moving, or at least at the moment it's not. So I'm going to clean this up and then see if I have a flywheel that we can put on there and set the end play. So I'm going to have to take the And I have to take the belt off so that everything moves freely. I'm only getting a little tiny baby bit of rotation out of this. And I think it might be because the pinion for the distributor might be seized in here. So I'm also going to spray some PB down in here. See if I can get a screwdriver in there and kind of walk her around some. See if I can get that moving freely. Might also take the fuel pump off because that could be seized, I guess. If that doesn't do it, then we're going to pull the valve covers off and see what's going on there. So PB, belt, flywheel, and we'll continue on. So I actually have the flywheel that came off of Rita's 1385. That's already been machined to fit an early crank. Early cranks have a weird little step on them. So new 12-volt flywheels need to be machined in order to mate up to the flywheel. So I'm going to try to use the shims, or at least start with the shims that came off that motor, so that I can set the end play here. Looks like that'll fit. All right. I'm going to try to reuse the main seal that came off of it too, because that was fairly new. But that's going to go in dead last anyway. I'm going to clean all this up and fit it and whatnot, and we can give it a go. Okay. All right. I'll take the seal off. Seal looks okay. Clean this horn up. I don't have a ton of brake clean available at the moment, so I'm trying to be liberal with it. All right. Let's see if I can even get this to fit over them dowel pins. What do I do with that paper towel? All right. All right. Slimy. Okay. All right. Go ahead, mate. Good. Take it. Take it. All right. Need a zip gun for the next part. How does that feel? That might actually be okay. So let me hook up my my little dial indicator and we'll take a peek at that and see what it's actually reading. Well, that's good enough for me. It's about 4 thou, a little more, but it's within spec. So I'm going to take the flywheel off now, put that rear main seal in, and then we can try to make this rotate a little bit better. All right, I've got the engine on a stand now. I think one of the first things I want to do before I start cranking this thing over is pull the carburetor off so I can get this big honking useless piece of shit out of the way. Then I think I want to try to pull the fuel pump, take a peek down there at the brass gear and make sure it still has teeth on it. After that, we'll pull the plugs and see if it rotates any easier. I feel like all this stuff might have been taken apart before because a lot of stuff is coming off pretty easy. I'm also missing an oil pressure switch. I'm going to have to replace that. Oh, that's good. That already exists. So this guy should just come right off like that. Great. Trash. I'll keep this off for a second. I'm going to have to probably pull it apart and make sure there's no crap floating around on the inside. Let me see if I can get this fuel pump off. End of the rod looks okay. What are the chances this phenolic will just come out? Wow. I've never had that come out easily.
Well, the teeth are still there, but there's definitely some crap in them. Wonder what that's about.
Well, I got the plugs out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. All right, let's see if it's a little bit easier to turn now. Might have to put a distributor in it to keep the pinion down. I wonder if that's what it's doing. Could be jumping out of place. All right, it's marginally easier to turn.
There's one little lump there in the middle that I'm not a huge fan of.
Alright, just to be safe, then we're going to pull the valve covers off. Take a peek what's going on in there while I'm rotating this over. Alright, well, I got the 1-2 side off. Everything looks pretty normal. You know, it's not as clean as I would like it to be, but it's certainly not as dirty as I've seen in the past. Now, then I went over to the 3-4 side. Very clear problem here. So we're going to take this rocker assembly off, see if that push rod is bent. I have a whole bunch of push rods, so I can always replace that. And then we'll put it back together. I'll set the valves, and then we can start trying to, you know, make sure it rotates over good. Put a distributor in it, fuel pump, and then, you know, do the sparky bits. Rachel's on her way to come help me out. Soon I'll be making her do all the dirty work, because she'll be having to do quite a lot of it, putting an engine together for her car, both, you know, the 59 and the Opel. Hopefully there'll be an Opel video again soon. She just ordered a shit ton of parts for that thing. It just came in today. Come on. Are those aluminum? Yes, they are. Wow, this isn't even bent, but it does have a little bit of a gouge on the side there from the rocker arm hitting it. All right. Let me see. I don't really want to put this back in. The opposite end looks like it's been chewed up a little bit too. I'm sure I've got another one the same length, so let me put that, let me see if I can dig one out. We'll pop that in, put the rocker arms back on, see if she rotates any better, and then, you know, set the valves. Let's see how this turns over now. Ooh. Oh, that is 100% stuck now. I ain't doing shit. Okay, well, we're gonna take that back off. Oh, there she goes. All right, that's a very different sound. In there. Might actually get a slightly more serious hammer. This probably isn't the best way to be doing this, but
it is the way I am doing this. Well, there's still plenty of tension on the springs. I can't spin them, but that look well, let's put it back on and see what happens. I don't think it'll be anything good. I got some heads kicking around. If we got to swap it, I was just hoping to not do that. You know. There we go. And come back up. Yes! There it is. Look at that. All right. All right, well, so now that we got that all kind of sorted out, we'll start on the other side and get the valves adjusted. See if we can't clean up those plugs, the 3 of them that need to be cleaned anyway. Fuel pump, distributor, go through the carburetor, give it a go. Well, I was going to do the valves, but now the motor doesn't really rotate over, and I think the pinion gear for the distributor has jumped. So I got to try to get that back down where it should be. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that yet. I got a fancy little tool to help me pull it out, but I don't think it really wants to come out. No, that shouldn't be that high. All right, well, let's try brute force and ignorance first. Yeah, okay, neat. Well, there she is. Hot Lips Hulbert has arrived. I got this rotating better. But I noticed that the endplay has gotten significantly worse since I set it 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to check that and see how bad it is and whether or not I feel like running it as is to make sure it even runs and doesn't knock or anything. So I'm going to check that, and then I'm going to have, I can't remember her name now.
Margaret?
Not yours.
Oh.
Daisy Duke over here. do the valves. All right. Okay, great. All right. Rachel's doing the valves. While she's doing that, I'm going to get the fuel pump back on and start going through the carburetor and make sure it does something. Once she's done, we can clean up the spark plugs and get those in. See if I have any spark plug wires laying around, and then we can maybe try to start it. So she's still doing the valves. I've gone and pulled the carburetor apart. It's not bad. I've definitely seen worse. So tomorrow I'll blow all these circuits out. I am going to replace this stupid thing with a regular ass idle jet. I think it said on here that this is a 55. Yeah, it's a 55. I think it had like a 115 main in it or something. So I got to get some more brake clean and blow all these circuits out, and then we can show. Oh, I need to get some vacuum caps too. Then we can put this back together, and probably have to wait till tomorrow to try to start this. But she's doing the valves now. I want to double check and make sure that it still rotates over nice, and then yeah,
tomorrow we'll give it a go. All right, it's another day. I've done a few things off camera because my phone was charging and I used that to film. I've kind of gone through the carburetor, blown all the circuits out, blew all the jets out. I put a regular idle jet in here instead of that stupid electronic thing. Found a good coil, put a distributor in. I think I did that yesterday. I went and bought some new plug wires. I'm going to clean up the plugs that were in here, install those back in, and then we can do the plug wires and hook everything up to a battery, see if we got spark, hook up the fuel, and see if we can't get this to do something. Let's go! All right, all I'm doing with these plugs is just hitting them with a little wire brush here to get all the soot and crap off of them. That'll be good enough. Thankfully, one of these is already really clean because someone put it in and it was never firing because the intake valve wasn't opening. All right, I've got everything hooked up. We're just going to make sure ahead of time that we got little spirkles here. So hopefully I can just do a little... Yep, okay, great. I'll plumb the fuel system now. And then we can try to fire this and see how god-awful the bottom end is. Okay. Got the fuel system vaguely plumbed. We're going to do a static time on the distributor. I think I want to give it just a, ooh, that's a bit much. Just lock up on me. It did. That's interesting. I don't like that. Why is it doing that all of a sudden? Huh. Well, just gonna power through it, I guess. Oh, that's like stuck. What? Well, that's interesting. All right, well, my hands are too slimy to get gloves on, and the camera's getting ready to die, so I'm going to dry my hands, get some gloves, and start digging around here, and when I find something, I'll let you know. Well, that escalated quickly. I had to tear everything apart because once I had the rocker assemblies off, plugs out, fuel pump off, distributor out, distributor drive gear out, it was still a problem. So I did find another, which one was it? Was it any of these or was it, yeah, it was that guy. I did find another slightly bent push rod. But even after removing that, that did not change anything. I found a lot of crap in the cylinders that just like compacted and stopped it from getting to full top dead center. What did I do with that other cylinder head? Oh. And like, you know, there's just a lot of crap in it. So I'm gonna continue pulling this all apart. Get the cylinders off and make sure it actually does rotate over properly, make sure that there's not like a ton of play in the rods or anything, and reassess the situation. The guy I bought it from at the show said, first of all, before I tell you what he said to me, this is why I don't like buying used engines. And why it's insane to me that people are not only asking anything more than $200 for a no-history motor, but people are paying more than $200 for a no-history motor. I paid more than $200 for this. The guy said to me that it came out of a running car and sat for 5 years, and then followed that up with, everyone that's bought an engine from me has been happy. No, that is a lie. And this is the chance that you take buying used engines. You know, because there's a reason it was pulled out of the car. And there's only ever really two reasons why it was pulled out of a car. Either the engine blew up or the car rotted out. More often than not, actually, it's usually a 50-50 thing. You know, but there's always a reason why the engine was pulled. So let me get these pistons off and we'll make sure that this rotates over properly and then game plan. All right, the fun continues. I've got the pistons off and it does spin over very nicely now. But looking in the cylinders with a light, I could see like sand and stuff, so I decided to take this off, and this sludge is really, really gritty. So then what's the plan? I have too much time and money invested in this motor now to give up on it. So my plan is actually to split the case and clean everything and only replace everything that absolutely needs to be replaced. If there's anything that I can squeeze just a little bit more time out of, it's going back in. However, that doesn't really help me from a top-end perspective, which is where the other boat anchor comes in. This is the engine that I had recently did the re-ring on the top end to put in the single cab. What you probably don't know is I've already ruined this motor because I was a total dingleberry and forgot to torque the flywheel down. So the bottom end is trash. But I believe the top end to be decent enough to go on this. So my plan is to clean everything, paint all the things, and make it way prettier than it deserves to be, so that I can put it in my 64 and maybe drive it around for like 100 miles before it spins a bearing or something. So that'll do it for this episode. Next time we're going to split the case and start cleaning it, so tune in for that. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends. You can follow me on Instagram at WickedWorks, and we'll see you at the next one.